my dear students. In the previous class, we have discussed some of the basics of this subject. Now in the today's session, we will start our first unit, that is digital communication techniques. In the today's class, we will try to cover some of the topics which is related to this chapter. Now look at the outline of today's class. First topic which we are going to cover, that is communication system and its types. After that, we will see the difference between analog and digital communication system. Then we will see the merits and demerits of digital communication system. Then we will see the concept of signal in communication system and its types. And also we will look at some of the explanation regarding signal in communication system. Let us study this topic one by one. First topic is communication system. As we have studied in the introduction class, basically a communication system is one in which we can transmit the information from source to destination through the communication channel. Here the communication channel may be wired media or it may be wireless media also. So the main purpose of communication system is to transport the information from one point to the another point through the communication channel. Based on the signal transmission, there are two types of communication system. First one is analog communication system and second one is digital communication system. Now what is analog communication system? Analog communication system is the one in which analog signal is used to transfer the information from source to destination through communication channel. So that in this type of communication system, the information sent from source to destination can only be described as an analog signal only. Then what is digital communication system? Digital communication system is the one in which digital signal are being used to communicate the information from source to destination through communication channel. So that in this type of communication system, the information sent from source to destination can be fully described as a digital signal only. I hope you all understood the difference between analog and digital communication system. Now look at the comparison between analog and digital communication system. Here first comparison is that, as you know, in analog communication system, we use analog signal for information transmission between one point to the another point. Whereas in digital communication, digital signals are being used for transmission of the information between the two users. The signal which you are going to use in the analog communication system is called as analog signal, whose amplitude varies continuously with respect to time. Whereas in digital communication system, we use digital signal whose amplitude is of two levels, either low or high. In digital signal, low voltage level is called as logic 0 and high voltage level is called as logic 1. Similarly, next comparison is that in analog communication system, analog signal gets highly affected by noise during the transmission through communication channel. That is what great technical trouble in analog communication system. This can be overcome by using a digital communication system, because in this system, digital signal gets affected by noise very less during transmission through communication channel. Now look at the other comparison. In analog communication system, it is not easy to transmit analog signal because we require very complex circuitry to transmit the analog signal from one point to the another point, so that analog communication system are not that much economical than digital communication system. Now in the type of digital communication system, data transmission is very easier because we are using digital signal, so that in this system you can have simple circuitry and this system is very cheaper than analog communication system. Similarly, next point is that in analog communication system we require low bandwidth to transmit the analog signal from source to destination, but in case of digital communication system we require higher bandwidth during the transmission of the data. Consumption of power required in case of analog communication system is very high, and in case of digital communication system, power consumption is very low compared to analog communication system. Analog communication system are less portable, but digital communication system are more portable than analog communication system. Analog communication system are not highly secured because of no privacy, but in case of digital communication system, it is highly secured because privacy level in this system is very high. Similarly, analog communication system are not assure an accurate data transmission, but digital communication system assure a more accurate data transmission compared to analog communication system. In analog communication system, informations are represented in the form of amplitude, frequency and phase variations with respect to time, but in digital communication system, informations are represented in the form of code words. Last comparison is that in analog communication system, coding is not possible, but in digital communication system, we can use coding technique so that at the receiver end, error can be detected and correct easily. These are the different comparison between analog communication system and digital communication system. Let's move on to the next topic, that is merits and demerits of digital communication. If you look at the merits of digital communication system supports high speed of data transmission. It provides reliable, secured and efficient transmission of data. Digital communication supports error detection and correction at the receiver end. Digital communication system offers high signal to noise ratio to minimize the error compared to analog communication system. Next one is digital communication system can easily manipulate and store the information. And last one is digital communication system has high storage capability compared to analog communication system. For example, if you consider a smartphone or mobile device as a digital communication system, we can store the information in the form of gigabytes, so that storage capacity of digital communication system are very higher compared to analog communication system. Let's move on to demerits of digital communication system. Sometimes digital communication system require complex circuitry because the signal has to transmit very faster and it has to be more reliable, so that in digital communication system we require greater hardware complexity. As the circuit complexity is increased, cost of the device also increase in digital communication system. Next demerits of digital communication system is it requires larger bandwidth compared to analog communication system. In digital communication system, synchronization is necessary at each level of data manipulation. That means in digital communication system, there should be a synchronization between a source to destination throughout the communication process. These are some of the demerits of digital communication system. Let's move on to the next topic. That is concept of signal in communication system. In our daily life, we come across different signals such as TV signal, radio signal, mobile signal and so on. So why these signals are more essential in the communication system and what is the exact definition of signal? That's what we are going to study in the next slide. Now what is signal exactly? In the communication system, signal can be defined as it's an arbitrary function of time which can be represented in the form of either in analog or digital. In the communication system, signal can carry the original information which is generated from the source and transmitted to the destination side through communication channel. So that signal representation in the communication system is more important for the transmission of the data from one point to the another point. Based on nature and characteristic of a signal, it can be classified into different types. Now let us look at the types of signal such as analog and digital signal, continuous time signal and discrete time signal, even and odd signal, periodic and non-periodic signal, real and complex signal, deterministic and random signal. Last one is energy and power signal. Now we will study each type of signal with its mathematical representation. First one, analog and digital signal. What is analog signal? Look at the signal representation of analog signal, which is in electrical form. Consider x of t as analog signal here. In this signal representation, voltage is continuously varied with respect to time interval. Here in this signal, time t is varying from 0 to infinity over the x-axis, so that time can be varying from 0 to plus infinity. So that in analog signal, voltage is continuous and it can take infinite number of values with respect to continuous time interval. Now look at some of the examples of analog signal. In the communication system, analog signal can be represented in many forms such as speech signal, radio signal, TV signal, and so on. Let us move on to the next type of signal, that is digital signal. Now look at the signal representation of digital signal here. Consider x of n is a function of digital signal in which voltage is not very continuously, but there is a step-by-step variation in the voltage with respect to time. In the digital signal, time axis can be discretized at regular time interval such as 0, 1 ts, 2 ts, 3 ts, 4 ts, 5 ts, 6 ts, and 7 ts. So that we can say in this signal, time has been discretized from 0 to 7 ts. For this regular time interval, we can get two possible voltage level, that is either high or low. In the digital signal, high voltage level is called as logic 1 and low voltage level is called as logic 0. So that we can say in digital signal, it has discrete voltage level with respect to discrete time interval. Look at some of the example of digital signals. In the digital communication system, the numerical output of computers such as computer data or telegraph signal can be represented in the form of digital. That's what regarding analog and digital signal. In the next session, we will try to understand the other types of signal. Till then, just recall the topics which I have covered so far. See you in the next video. Thank you.